Good morning. Thank you all for being here. You see still quite a few folks turning up. But like I say, I really appreciate everyone's time. I know it's a Thursday morning. I know it's an hour of people's time, probably just less than that actually. So very grateful for everybody who has come. So today we're going to be talking all about the C word. So Christmas, Black Friday, all things sort of seasonal sales and how we can maximize that from a marketing point of view, from a campaign point of view, and particularly from a PPC point of view, because we have got a wonderful head of PPC with us, Irina. She rolls her eyes, but what she doesn't know about PPC is not worth knowing. So I'll do a very, very quick introduction to myself. I'll do a very, very quick introduction to our business, and I'll hand over to Irina, because that's really what we're all here for, to hear about all the tips and tricks that Irina uses to maximize the return that our clients get from their seasonal campaign. So very quick introduction. So I'm Rob. I'm one of the co-founders of the Digital Maze. Digital Maze is a full-service digital agency. We've got three sort of different areas of the business that we focus on. So one of those is web development and web design, UX, conversion rate optimization, and everything in between. We've got the SEO team who focus largely on e-commerce websites. And then we've got the PPC team, which Irina leads as our head of PPC, which is largely what we're going to focus on today. So without further ado, I will hand over to Irina. Over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Rob. Good morning, everyone. And I can't quite believe we're talking about Christmas today. It's July, for goodness sakes. Yeah, I'm going to introduce myself in just a minute. But let me just, first of all, share my screen. Hopefully, I'm going to share the right one. Can you see that? Rob, would you mind letting me know if you can see that?
Yeah, all good. I can see that.
Wonderful.
Perfect. If you can maybe just put a thumbs up in the chat if you can see it.
Oh,
And
let's
Becky, we will be indeed. Sorry, Pete.
Yes, they can see it, so that's great. Thank you very much, guys. So without further ado, yeah, let's talk about supercharging your Black Friday and Christmas marketing. Oh my God, I really cringe saying that. You know, Christmas. This is way too early. I should have showed up in my Christmas jumper, but anyway, I would like first of all to just go through what we're going to cover today. And first of all, I'd like to go through some of the emerging trends in the consumer behavior over the past years. How do we run Black Friday during a cost of living crisis? How you can run Black Friday promotions for non-e-commerce business, when you should start preparing for the Black Friday, how does Black Friday strategy compare to the rest of the year, some of the best channels you can utilize, how you can utilize social media during Black Friday as well, what audiences do you go after, some of the other marketing solutions that you can use on Black Friday, and what happens after that. So let me just quickly introduce myself as well. My name is Irina, and I'm head of paid media here in the Digital Maze. And I have been here, oh gosh, for almost 1 year, and it feels a lot longer than that. And I have, in fact, been doing PPC for over 16 years, which it's a crazy number, really. And I do want to believe I know what I'm doing more often than not. I actually have a background in programming. I believe Rob here also has background in programming. And I used to work with a variety of clients, including B2B and B2C. I used to work on the client side. I used to work on the agency side. And here I am on the Digital Maze, leading the paid media department. And I am here today to try and present some of the findings, some of the ideas of what you can do with your marketing during the Black Friday. So let's go through the emerging trends in the consumer behavior over the past few years. So some of the trends that we saw from last Black Friday is, first of all, that people are sort of coming back to normal, if you will. Not the new normal, but normal, because near me searches have started to increase. And last year they have increased on the Black Friday and midday Saturday. So rather than straight away purchasing something online, people are actually looking for something to actually go and buy in store or pick up. We also saw that pay later orders have increased by almost 80%, with revenues through this method rising by over 80%. So this is something to kind of take into consideration as well, when you're kind of thinking of sort of payment options that you have available on your website. And another thing that we saw as well is that mobile purchases have been dominating the retail, with over 70% of the retail traffic worldwide generated from mobile devices. And there was also a growing demand for personalization, with 60% increase in shoppers walking away from the brands that fail to meet their unique personalized needs. So this is something to keep in mind, and we will cover a little bit more of it on the next slides. Big one this year is Black Friday during the cost of living crisis. It was kind of already the case last year, and we kind of started noticing certain things, like, for example, increase in buy now, pay later, but also we need to kind of start with understanding the current climate and where the interest for Black Friday is. I included 2 screenshots on this slide with the interest for Black Friday over the past 5 years and for the past, I believe, 15 years or so. So interest has been gradually decreasing since the pandemic, with people being a lot more conservative with their spending habits, given the uncertainty and the economic situation in the world. And with the peak in 2019, it was the lowest point of interest in Black Friday search terms in 2022 since year 2013, which, says a lot. Consumers are also becoming savvier, and they are doing their research thoroughly, and they are comparing the cost really, really thoroughly while choosing the best value for their money. Another thing to keep in mind during the Black Friday, not just during the cost of living crisis, but Black Friday in general, is there are 2 main forces of success. There is equality and there is honesty. Some of the statistics show that over 98% of Black Friday discounts that were advertised back in 2020 were available for the same price or cheaper in the 6 months after the sale. Now, with that in mind, it's only 2% of the offers on the Black Friday in 2020 were actually genuine. And some of the numbers also show that over 70% of customers say they're unlikely to buy if the company loses their trust. And 57% say they would never buy from the company again if they violated their trust. And posting the deal, sort of advertising the deal that is not exactly genuine is a very easy and quick way of, losing the trust in your customer. So while we understand and appreciate that, the times are hard and margins are tight, but do make sure that your offers are of a value and, the customer will actually see this value. Another main thing to keep in mind is you do need to build the trust to stand out, because once consumer sees your ad across 3 and more different channels, the trust in it strengthens. And this year, of course, you need to be prepared for a different Black Friday. Make sure that you are talking to the right customers at the right time. So we will talk about it a little bit more in the next slides. And you need to make sure to tell your customers what exactly they can expect from the sale. Make sure to be as transparent and upfront as possible. Keep in mind as well that the customers are a little, not a little, but a lot more savvy now, and they are doing their research thoroughly prior to completing a purchase. Be empathetic as well. Empathy will get you a long way, because showing the understanding, your understanding of potentially tough financial situation and tough economical situation, it can make a great deal of difference. And highlight the value for money and how your proposition can be useful for the potential buyer. For instance, saving some money on the energy bills while purchasing appliance that is more energy efficient. This is not at all a reference to Boris Johnson offering to buy 20-pound kettle, by the way. Anyway, let's move on and talk about Black Friday for non-e-commerce, because of course we're all thinking about shopping and e-commerce and sort of checkout process on the on the online stores and everything during the Black Friday. Whereas Black Friday isn't just for e-commerce, and you absolutely can utilize this day to sort of promote your deals if you have them. So some of the ways that you can do that are here below. And first one can be, for instance, you can create an offer with the added value with either extra bonuses or services. Some of it can be, for example, like a free resources, either a checklist or a calendar or a free ebook, or entry to a competition or free ticket to an event, etc. So anything to kind of capture your customers' attention. You can also combine and bundle your services. So let's say you're a company that sells online courses. So you can, for instance, offer two for the price of one, or you can add an extra service on top of your existing proposition. You can also discount your services to a limited number of clients. So some of the examples that I personally saw in the past that I thought was really interesting and clever was offering a 40% discount for the initial consultation for the first 10 customers, 30% discount for the next 20, etc. So that was a really, sort of nice and easy way of creating, an urgent and a limited offer that made people interested. So the big question is, when should you start preparing for Black Friday? And, is it actually too early to talk about it now? Because some of the clients, that we have been talking to have already been preparing for Black Friday and Christmas. And when I voiced my confusion about it, they said that it's actually already too late for them. Where I come from, there is a saying that you need to get your sled ready in summertime, which essentially means that you need to prepare for something that lies few months ahead, far in advance. So you do need to start building the awareness and anticipation in advance, because leaving the things last minute may lead to certain unexpected issues. This can be anything from disapproved ads or promotions, or potentially disapproved shopping feed, and you can also lose some of the advantage to your competitors that may have already started, sort of building the anticipation to Black Friday, and you can miss some of the opportunities because of that as well. And keep in mind too that mobile is more important than ever. Just referring back to that point that over 70% of retail traffic has been generated from mobile devices. So do make sure that your website is mobile friendly and the checkout process is nice and smooth. And do make sure to plan your course of action thoroughly, just to build the anticipation among your new and existing customers. Again, this is something that I will get back to in the next slides as well. Do look back if you have data from the previous years, especially the pre-pandemic years, and see if there is anything that have worked well in the past, and if there is anything at all that can be reused this time. And do make sure to lay out a plan, including the budget you want to spend, the platforms you're planning to use, the ad copies, messaging, promo codes, etc. So make sure to have the full plan prepared and ready to go. So how does the Black Friday strategy compares to the rest of the year? and what sort of things you may want to consider changing during the Black Friday. So first one is probably one of the biggest questions that I was kind of facing in my career as a paid marketer, was regarding the daily budgets. Like, shall we keep budgets the same? Shall we increase them? Shall we decrease them? I know that probably everyone will have different approach to that, but my personal opinion is your campaigns should definitely not be constrained by the budget during such a peak sort of time, because it is, if you have done the Black Friday promotions, if you have some Black Friday statistics from the past, you will probably see that this is the day when you're getting more sales than normal. So this is not the day when you want your campaigns to be limited by budget. So I do recommend to raise your daily budget during the Black Friday. Make sure that your messaging is consistent across all the channels, because the last thing you want to do is to advertise one sort of message, let's say on Facebook, another one on Instagram, and third one on Google, etc. So do make sure that your messaging is consistent. Do emphasize the urgency and the limited time offers, so create some fear of missing out. And consider some of the ad customizers for the countdown. The one where Google, for instance, shows people that you have certain number of days or certain number of hours until the end of the sale, which again creates a little bit more urgency and creates a bit more of a sort of, basically emphasize the limited offer. Your landing pages, do make sure that your website is up to date and again displaying the same offer as in your ads, because again, last thing you want to do is change your ad copies, but then not actually update the information on your website and confuse the customer. Don't forget your ad extensions as well. Do use site links, promotions, and the price extensions. So for example, if you are advertising, let's say, running shoes, and you have 30% discount for Nike, 40% for Asics, 50% for Brooks, etc., do make sure to include them as an ad extension, so people potentially interested in a certain brand will click and go straight to the page of the brand they're interested in. Do add the promotions in the Google Merchant Center as well, and make sure your promotions are approved and well highlighted. And check your shopping feed and make sure it's all active. There are no disapproved items, and keep an eye on your account suspension risks, because you absolutely don't want to end up with disapproved or inactive shopping feed during the Black Friday. There are some of the other things you need to keep in mind that may sound obvious, but I will go through them anyway. And first and foremost, make sure that your website can actually handle all the extra traffic. Also, make sure you have adequate stock levels as well for the products that you're running your promotions for. Do minimize the user journey to product pages. Like I mentioned just a few moments ago, use the site links wherever possible, and simplify the checkout process as much as possible. I did notice that a lot of the websites are now using Apple Pay or Google Pay, so it makes it super easy to go through the checkout process. But also keep in mind that people are using buy now, pay later option, so this is something to kind of keep in mind as well. So you may want to introduce payment options like Klarna, for example, or PayPal credit, etc. So what are the best platforms to use for the Black Friday ads? That is probably the most overused phrase that I had in my marketing career, and the answer is it depends, because you do need to check what worked for you before if you have run the promotions in the past. So keep in mind, your previously successful campaigns and channels you are advertising them on. Check the best creatives, check the messaging, check the deals to see if any of them can be reused again. And don't be afraid to explore something new. So consider the platforms you haven't yet advertised on for some of the cross-platform remarketing or prospecting. So for example, if you never advertised on Facebook, perhaps it could be a good idea to try some of the remarketing on Facebook for the Black Friday offers. And do keep in mind that more touch points equals more trust. So just a little bit more onto Facebook and the social media in general and how you can utilize it during the Black Friday. So some of the ways you can leverage social media is, for example, run lead generation campaigns on Facebook and Instagram for early access for your Black Friday sale. Or let's say if you're B2B and you're running some of the Black Friday sale on your website, you probably may want to consider LinkedIn, but Facebook and Instagram is probably the first one that kind of comes to mind. So you can advertise and collect data for the early access to your Black Friday sale. You can then follow up, let's say, either with an email, with a certain discount code, or just let them know when the Black Friday sale starts. And obviously, once you will obtain the details from the lead generation campaigns, make sure to nurture and retarget the audience that you collect. So don't make it go to waste. Leverage engagement and brand awareness campaigns as well to reach out to new customers and re-engage with your previous customers as well. So consider uploading customer list on Facebook. So now onto the audiences and how do we do prospecting and remarketing during the Black Friday? I mentioned a few slides back that you need to talk to the right people at the right time. So you want to segment and break down your audiences as much as possible and as much as audience size allows you to, really. So some of the examples that you can use prospecting, for example, is on Google, for instance, you can go ahead and try overlaying your audiences. So, for example, you can consider combining the Black Friday shoppers and bargain hunters with a certain custom and in-market audiences. For instance, if you're again selling the running shoes, you may want to combine the Black Friday shoppers with either runners or people who are looking for running shoes or the custom audience for them. Don't forget about the lookalike audiences, especially those that have been created with first-party data. This is more about Facebook and Instagram, probably, because Google is unfortunately taking the similar audiences away, literally a few days from now. The audiences that are created with the first-party data, for instance, customer list or platform engagers on Facebook or Instagram, are, in my experience, are a lot more valuable and seem to be working a lot better than the lookalikes created on a third-party based audience. So you can also break down your remarketing audience as well. So again, segmented, try to segment it as much as you can and as much as your audience size allows you to. So for example, for remarketing, you can segment your audiences for several different categories. So for example, this can be visitors of your website that not converted, or it can be the checkout abandoners, it can be social media engagers, it can again be customer list, or it can be past converters. So you probably will want to advertise to all of them with a slightly different message. And do make sure to utilize the dynamic remarketing as well, just to tailor and personalize the offers to your audience as much as you can. Because if I have been looking for a certain pair of running shoes, and I will then see it, discounted, advertised to me either on Facebook or, on the Google Display Network, I will be a lot more likely to go ahead and take the plunge and purchase it. So what are the other marketing solutions that you can consider during the Black Friday other than PPC? The first one that comes to mind is probably the email marketing campaign. So we talked about, sort of collecting data through the lead generation campaign on Facebook. So the natural step after that would probably be following up to these list of customers over the email. So either the ones that were collected through Facebook or the ones that you already have, etc. Use organic social media posts as well, just to create some more urgency, and consider selling directly through the social media. So connect your online store with the platforms like Facebook and Instagram to allow the customers to purchase directly through their Instagram or Facebook feed. This is not exactly a marketing channel marketing solution as such, but do make sure to audit and improve your website and product pages as much as you can prior to Black Friday as well. Keep in mind that even 1% increase in conversion rates will significantly improve your transactions and revenue, which can be crucial during peak seasons. So, what happens after Black Friday, and how can you keep your sales up? And the natural answer is Cyber Monday. Black Friday is no longer a single day event, and it is followed by Cyber Monday, and it is an online specific event as opposed to Black Friday, which can be in store as well as online. So do keep in mind as well that most retailers are now running extended promotions that last for a few days. For example, either Black Friday weekend or Black Friday week or even Black November. So this is something to keep in mind. So if you do have sort of certain certain promotions that are lasting more than X amount of days, make sure again to highlight this in your ad copies, in your image assets, and on your website as well. Christmas. I hate myself for this slide. Keep in mind your stock levels around Christmas time because, again, similar to Black Friday, but probably for different reasons because a lot of things during Christmas come into a halt. You don't want to run out of your best sellers too quickly. And do display a cutoff and delivery dates on your website and be transparent when your customers expect their orders to be delivered. So, for example, if somebody's shopping for a Christmas gift, more likely than not, they will probably want to receive it before Christmas. Highlight the Christmas promotions if you have them. Also consider seasonal landing pages. Get people into a Christmas spirit. Automate everything as if you can. Use automated rules, schedules, and scripts whenever possible. And once you create them, double check them and then check them again, just in case. Because occasionally, there are some things that you can accidentally miss out. Certainly happened to me. And last but not the least is the Boxing Day. And again, similar to Christmas, similar to Black Friday and Cyber Monday, make sure that you are customizing and tailor your ad copy to Boxing Day sales. That's considering you are going to have Boxing Day sales. Do schedule and automate your ads whenever you can. And again, do make sure to double and triple check your automated rules and scripts and schedules, because the last thing you want is just to stand up from from a Christmas dinner table and go and change your ads. Consider updating your website as well with relevant information to the Boxing Day sale. Use countdown features if you can in your search ads as well, potentially on your website, if your website has this function now, to emphasize the urgency and the limited time offer. And again, similar to Black Friday, do make sure that your offers are valuable and they're genuine. And that's pretty much it. So let me just go through a quick summary of, most kind of important points from today. Do make sure to start preparing for your Black Friday as early as you can. Make sure that your offers are valuable and genuine and that you're very transparent about it with the customer. So keep your messaging consistent across all of the channels. Remember that Black Friday is not just for e-commerce. If you're a service-based business, you can absolutely run some Black Friday promotions as well. Segment your audience and tailor your offers. So make sure you're talking to the right customers at the right time. Keep an eye on your stock levels and keep your sales coming with the tailored Christmas, Boxing Day ads and the Cyber Monday as well. So I believe that is actually everything. And now I think it's a Q&A time.
Correct. Thank you, Irina.
You're
So
very
if anybody has any questions we'll spend what time is it now? We'll spend the next sort of 10 minutes or so taking any questions from the chat. We've also got some questions sent in from the team as well. So let's kick off. I'm going to interrogate you now, Irina. Is that okay?
No.
So, which channels would you normally favour for, say, a Black Friday campaign?
Very good questions, and I kind of already talked about it in the slides, but it kind of depends of what you what you already run currently. So, for example, if you're already running Facebook, you probably you would not naturally want to advertise on Facebook as well. But if for example you haven't you have thought of certain channels but never explored them in the past, so they can be like completely random, like seemingly random ones, like a Spotify, for example, that seems to be like a little bit too generic and whatever. But when I use Spotify in the past, it actually worked really well. So I will be keen on testing Spotify for some of my clients this year.
Fab. Thank you for that. So with the rise of mobile shopping, I know that I spend all too much money browsing Amazon or whatever it might be on my mobile phone.
Yeah.
Are there any sort of mobile specific tactics that you use with your campaigns or can be used with campaigns to capture the attention of these holiday shoppers?
That's a very good question. My answer would probably be like not as much around the sort of mobile specific PPC strategy, but probably about the mobile specific website, just just to make sure that your website is as mobile friendly as possible. So like running through some tools, like for example the Cluify, just to get an understanding like how well your website is performing on the mobile devices, how easy it is to go through the checkout process as well, and again, simple things like checking out with the with the Apple Pay or Google Pay. It made so much difference. Like for me personally, like I even before that I spent way too much money shopping on my mobile device. Now I spend even more because of that.
Yeah, so easy.
So I fell into trap big time.
Cool. Yeah, Apple Pay, Android Pay. Honestly, I genuinely I will search for somewhere that has that installed before I even make a purchase these days. That's how
There you go.
Are there any specific audience targeting tactics that can be used at these different types of year?
Yeah, absolutely. Like for example, I mentioned on my slide deck as well that Google, for example, they have a specific sort of bargain hunters. They have Black Friday shoppers. They even went as far as separating in-store Black Friday shoppers and online Black Friday shoppers. So you can absolutely go ahead and use these, and you can, like I said, like you can overlay these Black Friday sort of shoppers and bargain hunters with some of the audiences that that you've already sort of created in the past. So that's sort of one of the things that you can do. And there are obviously, of course, loads of sort of different ways that you can leverage remarketing during the Black Friday. Like I can see there is a question from Zoe in the chat about the e-commerce. How do you recapture those who just leave things in cart abandonment to give them that little push? Excellent question, Zoe. And I believe you can just create the you can create the audience in either Facebook, or you can create the audiences within either Google Ads or Google Analytics, and you can then once you have reached this certain kind of number of people in your audience, you can go ahead and remarket those as well. Now, there's one thing that you need to keep in mind too, because obviously you do need to hit a certain number of people before you're allowed to advertise to them. And this has been a bit of a challenge, like for me personally, when I try to narrow the audiences down a little bit too much, and then neither Facebook nor Google nor LinkedIn just allowed me to advertise to this audience, saying it's a little bit too narrow. But hopefully it's not going to be the case for you. I'm hoping this answers the question.
Fab. And we have a question from Dana. When should we start preparing for these events, Irina? Obviously,
when
we're talking about it in July, and we are quite a few months away from some of these bits and pieces. So a general guess or answer from me would be quite a while before. But have you got any sort of more specific thoughts on that at all?
You know what? You know what? In my career, in my experience, I've talked to so many clients that that started preparing for the next Black Friday straight after
Wow.
the current Black Friday. So I think it heavily depends on what sort of business you have. It heavily depends on what sort of size of a company you have, and if you do want your offers to be genuine and valuable, you want to prepare as early as possible, really. And you do, of course, want your offers to be valuable, because especially this year, because cost of living crisis and everything. And people are like, they're really doing their research, and they're really kind of trying to they're really trying to save their money wherever they can. So show them that if they purchase like this particular offer from you, they will indeed save money. You can save their money, you can be useful to your customers. So be upfront about it, and communicate this to your customers in your ads, on your website, in any way you can.
Brilliant. Final question, unless
Yes.
anybody else from the audience has anything they would like to ask. Was there any big learnings last year, Irina? I know a lot of our customers had Black Friday campaigns, had Christmas campaigns that we obviously led, and particularly that was a lot of that was spearheaded by yourself. So was there any big learning curves for you? Anything that particularly worked well? Anything creative or out of the box that?
Very big learning is keep a very close eye on Google Merchant Center, because it was Black Friday last year, and one of the I believe one of the customers just had their feed disapproved and their promotions disapproved because of some of the sort of mistake potentially on the Google side, which we unfortunately could do very little about. But that was probably the biggest sort of thing, and I think it taught us a good lesson not to leave things last minute. So yeah, that was probably sort of the main thing.
Brilliant. Well, any final orders, last orders? No. Well, look, I really appreciate everyone's time this morning. I appreciate your time, Irina. It was a great presentation. I'm sure we all learned a lot. I think somebody asked in the chat, but there will be a recording of this circulated in the not too distant future. So if you would like to listen to it back, it's there if you would like to. It'll also go on our website. But like I say, thank you for everyone's time. I know it's a Thursday morning. I know we're all busy. So to have an hour of your time, we're very, very grateful. So we'll see you again soon.
Cheers. Well, thank you very much.